Now that is the sound of a great and magnificent creature that my esteemed professor, Professor Andy, told me about. There it goes again. Now that's the roar of the great sauropod. Pardon? You've never heard of a sauropod before? Well, you're in luck, because I happen to know a thing or two about them. In fact, sauropods are a kind of dinosaur. You may recognize them as those gentle giants in movies with the super long neck. In fact, sauropods are known to be the biggest herbivores to have ever roamed the earth. Now let's take a look at this picture. Down here at the bottom is your average 7-foot NBA player, and towering over him is our sauropod, which averages a height of 60 feet. Now that's a mighty veggie eater. Not only did God create such an awe-inspiring giant, but the sauropod has a characteristically long neck that averaged 49 feet in length. If you've ever built a model house, or a house of cards, or even a tower of corks, then you know that building anything that's tall and long takes a lot of planning, and it needs to be built perfectly from the very beginning in order for it to function properly and, not let it collapse or break. The same can be said of the sauropod. With such a long neck, the random mutations and adaptations suggested by evolution would not have allowed this colossal beast to survive or function properly. Instead, God created the sauropod to be an engineering masterpiece from the very beginning. To better understand God's ingenious design, we gotta get down deep into the very bones of this creature. Similarly to humans and many other animals, sauropods have a long string of vertebrae. Vertebrae are the collection of smaller bones that make up your backbone, and they are important for essentially holding the body together. However, the vertebrae do not just stop at your back. These bones extend beyond the back and along the neck, ultimately connecting the head to the rest of the body. These vertebrae may not seem like such a big deal to us, but they are a big deal to our sauropod friends because of their distinctively long necks. Whenever a sauropod moves its neck, its vertebra moves into place. Now, this actually presents us with a problem because every time a vertebra moves, it oscillates, and that's just a fancy word for moving back and forth. Now, one oscillation doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you consider that there are 19 bones in the sauropod's neck, and you take into consideration that combined oscillation, then it's actually a very strong force. These oscillations are no small wobble. Rogue oscillations present structural engineers with a problem that even the greatest engineers today aren't able to solve. These oscillations can topple massive buildings just because they shake at a certain frequency, and they actually limit humans in our ability to create massive structures. If you thought we had it rough, then the sauropod definitely had it rougher. In fact, the oscillations in the sauropod's neck would be so strong that if the sauropod extended its neck to take a bite of delicious leaves, its neck would snap back, and the sauropod would be unable to take a bite of its much-needed food. Now, that would be truly tragic, but thankfully, our God does not leave his creation incomplete. Instead, he created each vertebrae in the sauropod's neck to have a corresponding cervical rib. Now let's take a closer look at this ingenious design. The cervical ribs located at the bottom of each neck vertebrae are the perfect solution to our oscillation obstacle. Due to not only the shape of the cervical ribs, but also the soft material that it is made out of, a special kind of cartilage, the ribs are able to vibrate in a way that counters the oscillations of the vertebrae. How cool is that? If just even one of these cervical ribs was missing, the sauropod would be severely limited in its ability to sustain itself. If even two were missing, then it's possible that the sauropod would not have been able to extend its neck at all. The evolutionary theory that the skeletal system develops over time would have been detrimental to the existence and the survival of the sauropod. Now that's a truly bad building plan. But Genesis 1:25 says, "And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Now, this verse tells us that God created all the beasts, and he created them good. God created the sauropod, and he created it to be good, complete, and properly functioning from the very beginning. With such a great engineering feat to overcome, the only way that the sauropod would have been built properly is if God created it with its long, luscious neck and each corresponding cervical rib from the beginning of its existence. And he did. Now, how amazing is God that he is able to create such an awesome creature? I hope this causes you to be in awe and wonder of our Creator God and cause you to want to know him more. Creation is cool, but our Creator is even cooler. All right, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait for next time when we learn another reason why creation is cool. Check out our original lessons by Andy Shi on our website, which is linked below. Also check out our other Creation is Cool videos here.